So good morning, folks. Thank you very much for being out here this morning. I'm Ed Harrington, General Manager of the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission, and we are out here to celebrate the groundbreaking for the Sutro Reservoir. There are a lot of reservoirs in San Francisco and pump stations and all the rest of the things we depend on to make sure we have a clean, secure source of water for drinking, for firefighting, and all these things. We've been working on these reservoir retrofits as part of our water system improvement program since 2004, and this is the last one. We have completed work on every other reservoir and pump station in San Francisco. Sutro Reservoir is the last one, and that's why we're celebrating that today, but also celebrating the finish of the whole in-city part of the water system improvement program. As you know, the whole program is a $4.5 billion program. There are still projects happening in the rest of the Bay Area and upcountry, but this is it for San Francisco, and so, again, we want to celebrate that. When we finish this reservoir actually handles about 15% of the water of San Francisco, and so we'll just be that much more secure in terms of our water supply for San Francisco. We have a lot of people that are with us today, and I'll be introducing them as we bring them up here to speak. But I do want to make sure that we all know that this could not be done without a lot of people involved. Certainly the mayor is here, Supervisor Ellsburn's here, we have folks from labor here, we have contractors that are here, and it all comes together to make these projects work. In fact, the contractor is S.J. Amoroso, and this is the fourth of the projects in San Francisco that they're working on, so we want to welcome and thank them for being here also. What I'd like to do now is introduce Mayor Lee. Mayor Lee has been involved with the Water System Improvement Program since day one. As head of DPW, as the city administrator, as the mayor, and so he's been with us all along as we've worked through this, and he's here to help celebrate with us today. Mayor Lee.
Thank you. Thank you, Ed. Well, if you notice, Supervisor Ellsburn, Ed Harrington, notice the blue, I'm wearing blue. We're not Dodgers fans. Okay. We only do this when we've got a water system that we want to talk about. But I wanted to thank the supervisor for being here, and the commissioners as well for being here, and all of the parties that Ed has mentioned. 5 years ago, when Ed Harrington took up this mantle of being the general manager for the PUC, it was also around the same time that then Mayor Gavin Newsom had asked me to go down to New Orleans and take a look at what they did not do to save themselves from all of the years of recovery that they've had to engage in, that they're still doing as of today. One of the big lessons that I found out at that time was that they didn't invest properly in their infrastructure, knowing that disaster was in front of them, having experienced flooding and the gates of their water barriers having melted down a couple times even before then. And so when Ed Harrington obviously knew that history as well, and he took up this leadership 5 years ago, he had a very focused determination of getting this water system improvement program not only up and running, but the education of the ratepayers has to go along with it. The people along, not only in San Francisco, but all the way up to Hetch Hetchy needed to be part of this because it's a whole system. And that to 5 years later have completed all of the 6 other reservoirs, and this being the last one in the city, to know that we've done 16 miles of water main restoration and reinforcement of the valves and everything that goes along with it, some 21 pump stations and infrastructure that have been part of the system have already been completed. We have honored what I saw was not properly invested in New Orleans. We have honored our public. We have honored the 2.6 million users of our water system. We have honored our ratepayers. We've honored our city and its history of the marvel of engineering feat up at Hetch Hetchy, which I will always never stop talking about as something that we need to protect and will not allow to be drained. This is that honor that I think Ed is proud of leaving our city and all the residents and all the ratepayers with. We have done correctly what we're supposed to do. And it is a great feat. It is one that I thank Ed for his many years of leadership here, but his experience and his fortitude in keeping focused and keeping all of the Public Utilities Commission and working marvelously with our commissioners that are here today as well. We have something to celebrate in this kickoff of this wonderful construction seismic rehab project that I know Amoroso is excited about. I've worked with Amoroso for years at DPW. They know how to lay out 2,400 tons of steel. They will be laying out 37,000 tons of cement. They know where to put it. They know how to reinforce this system so that water continues to be not only saved but used responsibly, and making sure that we plug all the leaks and have this reservoir there for us on a daily basis, but also should there be any seismic event, it will be here for us as well. We are taking care of infrastructure, and that's something I will cherish and want to say constantly as the mayor of this city. We take care of business, and we do it with our contractors, and we do it the right way. There's also thanks to be recognized because we're doing it with labor and in honor of the labor men and women who are here to provide the decent wages that we do, give them a good living salary. We've also worked with our Office of Economic and Workforce Development and our City Build project to make sure our residents have a good shot at these jobs. So the training and the local hiring that's being done and the effort by labor and their procedures to be flexible and work with us on training our own residents to have that shot at these jobs is incredibly important to getting everybody involved in our infrastructure and involved in our work that we have to offer. And again, I need to thank the PUC Commission for their leadership in accommodating that to happen, because that's another one of those very nice parts of the way we do business in the city. And of course, our labor leaders are figured in very big on that. Well, I'm here to make sure you know that's why I will be out in front talking about our Hetch making sure that you know I am fully going to be against any effort to drain that, because we've invested properly in the system. We will honor the ratepayers and the people who depend upon the system for generations to come. We are in Sean Ellsburn's district. I want to thank him for his wonderful years of leadership and making sure that we are fiscally responsible. He's been the fiscal watchdog of the Board of Supervisors, and he's also added a great amount of focus for us to keep doing what we do in the right way. But ultimately, I want to end by thanking Ed Harrington for his wonderful years, and I know that he's trying to complete as many things as possible for his last month on the job here, and I know he feels comfortable in having left and leaving this city in a good hands and the good processes that we've had. He's got a wonderful foundation for having completed all these projects. And then we're off with Mr. Kelly's leadership as we start talking about the wastewater system and what we need to do with ratepayers. And I know Mike and Todd are eager to work as a team with him on that, and to then re-educate our public, our ratepayers, about what's next on the agenda. What do we have to take care of to make sure our future is safe and our infrastructure is safe as well. So I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to celebrate this with our PUC and with all of the friends that they have. I'm glad to be creating more jobs with our contractors and then putting everybody together, making sure they know that our infrastructure is safe, and we will continue making it safe and making it workable and improving it along the way. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. And with us today also is Sean Ellsburn. It's fitting that the very first project we did on the WSIP program in 2004 was in District 7, and the last one we're doing is in District 7. And in fact, of the 35 projects we're done in San Francisco, 15 have been in District 7. So we know we've torn up your streets, rearranged your businesses. We appreciate your unwavering support as we did that, though. Supervisor Ellsburn.
Thank you. The last time I stood on this reservoir was about 20 years ago, and I was playing basketball right over there when we had the basketball courts on top of the reservoir. About 10 years ago, seeing Harlan, I got my introduction to the WSIP. It's on a helicopter. Remember that, Harlan? Harlan and Ed's predecessor, Pat Martell, took me and another gentleman and a couple other folks on a helicopter tour of the Hetch system all the way out to Hetch. Learned all about it, and to think 10 years, here we are. I'd like to thank the PUC specifically. You mentioned 15 projects. It did seem like maybe it was 30, but we got through them all, and you were tremendous. You were residents of the district. You really were, and you really worked fantastically with the neighborhoods in the district. Anybody I communicated with was always responsive, but much more importantly, the residents who were right nearby any of the projects could always work with staff on site, and inevitably were always responsive, always cooperative, and you really work seamlessly with everybody here, and we do very much appreciate it and are very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sean. We have a pleasure of having 3 of our 5 commissioners here today. Also, we have our commission president, Andy Moran. We have our commissioner, Ann Kane. And speaking next is going to be our commissioner, Francesca Vitor. Francesca.
Thank you, Ed. And you've heard a lot about what a major milestone this project is, the 35th project in the WSIP program. And it's the last and final local city and county of San Francisco project here in San Francisco. So we are so excited to be celebrating that. But it is also another major milestone because it is our general manager's last week here at the San Francisco Public Utility Commission, and I want to thank him publicly here as part of this major milestone for all of the work that he has done to serve this commission and this city, not only as general manager, but as city controller before that for these last 27 years. So thank you for your leadership and your commitment to this city and to this system. I also want to thank everybody else who's worked on this project, not only the commissioners that are here, but our incoming general manager, Harlan Kelly, the AGM of Infrastructure currently, as well as all the staff. I know that there's a lot of staff here, the engineers, the planners, the operators, everybody that's been involved. I mean, you can't take on a project like this or a system rebuild without a lot of help and a lot of effort. And I just want to give a big heartfelt thank you to everybody who's here and everybody who's not here who has worked to make this project a success. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. And as you can tell, it's not just about this reservoir today. It really is about all the things we've accomplished together, and we appreciate that so much. One of the groups that we obviously couldn't do without is labor. Who builds these things? We just announce them. Who actually does all the work? And we are very pleased today to have Michael Terrio. Michael and the PUC have worked together for so long on all these things. It is a pleasure to have you here today. Michael is the Secretary-Treasurer of the Labor Trade Council.
This has been a wonderful program. It has brought in project after project after project on time, under budget. This is a complex system, and yet you don't hear any complaints about service interruptions out there. Maybe about streets being torn up in Sean's district, but not about service interruptions, because we've managed to bring in project after project after project on time and under budget. And it's been a great partnership between the labor unions and the city. And I want to call out some of the labor folks who are here today. Charlie Lavery with the operating engineers. Charlie, would you raise your hand? Tony Urbina back there with the sheet metal workers. Tony Demas and David De La Torre with the laborers. That partnership has been formalized in an agreement that has functioned beautifully, that has had attention all the way back to Washington, D.C. And if you want to talk about stimulus, and in Washington they like to talk about stimulus, more than 1.7 million hours of work have gone to residents of the service territory of the Public Utilities Commission in the course of this project. 1.7 million hours of work. I don't have a total of how many homes that has saved. I don't have a total of how many braces that's put on kids. I don't have a total of how many meals that is put on tables. But it's got to be huge. And it's got to be critical to the survival of construction workers and the construction industry in this area. So I want to thank the city for that in a big way. One of the things that has been very innovative about this project, and something that I have supported consistently for years, is a close partnership with regional service providers of pre-apprenticeship. That is, access to apprenticeship for young people in the service territory through the Jobs Training and Opportunity Program. So they've partnered with City Build here in San Francisco. You see the City Build folks back there. Give them a wave. With Cypress Mandela in Alameda County, with Project Build in San Mateo County, with Youth Build in San Joaquin County, to channel folks into our apprenticeships. That is one of the great things that a program like this, a civic program, can do. It can leverage the work that we're doing to bring folks into our trades and to start them on careers. And there's some trades that have done especially well in that regard. I think we have to call out the plumbers, who are at 30% apprentice usage, actually. The roofers, who are at 27% at last report, the ironworkers, who are at 22%, and the electricians, who are at 20%. I also think that the laborers right now, working with the Public Utilities Commission on developing a program for bioregional habitat restoration, are also doing something extremely innovative and that is important to the future of this area. We have to do, over the next few decades, a lot of undoing of the damage that was done in the 19th and 20th centuries to the habitats in our region. And that program allows that to be done by skilled workers at good wages. And I thank the laborers and the Public Utilities Commission for putting that program together. Finally, I'm with the mayor on this. This system starts at Hetch Hetchy and comes down to San Francisco, and should always start at Hetch Hetchy, in the Hetch Hetchy Valley, and come down to San Francisco. That is the most efficient system. That is the cleanest system. That is the system we need to have for the future and for a long time to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Michael, for your support and for all your comments this morning on all the topics. So yes, thank you. A few more people to introduce this morning. We have Mike D'Antuono, your name, sorry, Joint Administrative Committee, National Construction Alliance. We have Rhonda Simmons and Ed Manning here. Saw them earlier back over here. Thank you very much for being here. Pat Mulligan, who's the director of City Bill that was just mentioned. From SJ Amoroso, we have Bob Erskine and Michael Chambers. And the PUC staff that are here include Deputy General Manager Michael Carlin, Assistant General Manager Todd Riedstrom, Dave Briggs, who's in charge of all the people who work in the water system here and in this peninsula area, the Bay Area, and Julie Labonte, who's the head of the project that we've been all talking about, the Water System Improvement Program. And here to say a few more words about that is the Assistant General Manager for Infrastructure and the incoming new General Manager of the PUC, Harlan Kelly.
Well, first of all, I wanted to just say that it's been an honor working for Ed Harrington. He's had demonstrate great leadership, and you'll be a hard man to follow. Also, I want to also acknowledge that I've been at this for 9 years myself, and I think Ann Kane was on the commission, and her and I were talking about how we can make this happen. And so we've done it. We're getting real close to completion. But I tell you, when you talk about complex engineering projects and how difficult it is, the main key is the people behind it. And I really want to give a shout out to Julie Labonte, the program director. With her leadership, it made things go a lot smoother, and we're able to really move and advance this program. Also, all the people from infrastructure, raise your hand. Those are the people who work tirelessly to make sure that these programs and projects are finished ahead of schedule and under budget. Also, you know, we talked about labor. Labor is our friend. We work with labor, different trades, to talk about apprenticeship programs to make sure that the communities are participating in the construction of this program. So I just wanted to say that it's just amazing. From our helicopter ride 9 years ago to see where we are today is really a treat. We're still not finished. We have a couple more years before the completion of this program, but I would like to just say that it's been a great time working on this program, a great time working for Ed Harrington, and it's my honor to serve the mayor and the commission. Thank you.
Thank you again, Harlan. I'd like to now ask two folks, Howard Fung and Saeed Toulier, to come up and do the heavy lifting. Howard is the regional manager for all of our WSIP projects, and Saeed is in charge of the ones in San Francisco. And these boards represent kind of the culmination of all the work. And so, yes, in fact, we have spent $360 million on these projects. So if you want to take away the $360 million, it's the Hetchy project for $360. Let's see if this works. Maybe it does. So these are the projects we've finished over in that quadrant of San Francisco. And we've spent a lot of money in the city, and these are the projects we finished on this side of San Francisco. It was blowing away earlier, that's why it's so secure now. There are 35 projects we have done. From 2004 to 2015, we'll be finishing this one here. So that's the last one there. Except this project is the last one, and I'm asking the mayor to put in the square for this project. It's right in back of here.
Right in the center here. Okay.
And so that is the groundbreaking because we didn't want to dig a hole in the reservoir.
Congratulations, Ed.
Thank you very much. And then finally, I have some things to hand to the mayor and Supervisor Ellsburn. We like to do things like this so you people remember what you've come for. And we have mementos for everybody here today, but we have special ones today for the mayor and for Supervisor Ellsburn. These are the highly coveted water meter covers.
I've been looking for one.
So these are the official water meter covers.
All right.
Remember you were here today.
Excellent. Thank you.
When you need a door stop, when you need something else. Sure. Thank you. Thank you. And finally, last up again is new General Manager Harlan Kelly.
So I guess I have the honor to actually give you a little send-off. Where is it at? And this is to recognize your service at the PUC. And as I said before, you're a hard act to follow.
Thank you, Harlan. So congratulations to everybody here. Thank you for all your hard work, and keep going. Thanks very much for being here today.